Welcome to the Rugby League Outsiders prediction video. This is the only prediction video on the internet that counts, in our opinion. My name's Craig.
My name's Karl. Round 19 had absolutely everything as the Lee Leopards shocked St Helens in a statement win, and Hull FC caused the upset of the round, beating the Wigan Warriors.
Right, Karl, round 19, absolute belter, some great results there, weren't there? Some that we didn't quite expect. And you said that, it was the upset of the round. Did you see it coming, Hull FC beating Wigan again?
I know Wigan have been stuttering a little bit, but I didn't see FC getting a win at the Brick Community Stadium. And what a game it was. I mean, and after we had the Lee Leopards v Saints game, which is an absolute cracker.
Right, so let's do a little rapid fire recap then of the results from this week. So first of all, Thursday, you've mentioned it already, Saints took on Lee Leopards.
Saints 4, Leopards 16. Lee won at St Helens for the first time since 1982. Tessie New had an absolute belter, as did Offengawe. Saints stuttered a little bit. Cal Felt had a bit of a shocker.
Tessie New putting on a show again. Love that chant. Moving on to Friday night, and Huddersfield took on Wakefield.
Giants 10, Trinity 46. Leroy Cudjoe celebrated his 400th Super League game for Huddersfield, which is just absolutely incredible. However, that's where the party ended, because Trinity were back to scintillating red-hot form, and they looked like they could score all day long.
Moving on then, Leeds took on Salford.
Rhinos 42, Red Devils 6. The game was a little bit closer than the scoreline actually suggests if you watch the match. Alfie Edjob played great, scoring a hat-trick. Jake Connor pulled the strings again for Lee. But there's one man on the losing side that everybody was talking about. Declan Murphy, debut for Salford Red Devils, had an absolute crack.
Yeah, and the quote from Wilkin was like, he hasn't got a clue what's going on, but he looks incredible. And that's exactly what it was about. Okay, moving on to the Saturday night then, and Catalans took on Hull KR in Perpignan.
Dragons 6, Hull KR 34. The league leaders reasserted their pressure on the table with just another clinical performance. Mikey Lewis was back to his best. He was instrumental in absolutely everything that Hull KR did. Catalan just didn't have any answers for him.
And that takes Hull KR 4 points clear at the top of the table, ahead of Wigan. And then Wigan took on Hull FC.
Hull FC stunned Wigan with a tactical display. Aidan Caesar absolutely pulled the strings all day, and he caused an absolute nightmare for Christian Wade on that wing. It finished Warriors 12, Hull FC 32, and Wigan's mid-season slump doesn't show any signs of stopping at the minute.
Yeah, and John Cartwright said that was the performance of the season for Hull FC, including a 100% completion rate in that first half. Moving on to the Sunday then, and the final game of the round, Castleford took on Warrington Wolves.
Tigers 20, Wolves 14. Head coach Sam Burgess questioned the referee's decision at the end of the game for the penalty try decision that wasn't given to them. But we've got to be honest with you, Castleford won in all the effort areas. They did the 1%ers better than Warrington did, and were deserved winners.
Yeah, great round 19, and an interesting round for round 20 then, Karl. Just 3 matches this week.
Yeah, 3 games, a little bit weird, isn't it, this going into this week's game? But will we see a better quality next week with 3 teams having a week off? Possibly. I mean, if you go by round 19, I thought round 19 was just absolutely incredible stuff. Really good set of fixtures, really high quality rugby. Do you know why we're having this midweek?
I think it was originally a break for international games against France. Obviously, that was cancelled, wasn't it? You know what I mean? They put a stop to that.
It's not like we've got an Ashes series this year to,
well,
to warm up for, is it? I mean,
yeah, so there was that. And then I think they just sort of kind of kept it in to give players a break. It coincides with the school holidays. You know what I mean? But it does make me think, like, which teams want this break and which teams don't want this break. I think you know what I'm talking about there is, as in, some teams will want to keep going with their momentum. Other teams want the break to kind of recalibrate and all that kind of stuff. And I thought before we got into this week's predictions, we'd just look at the 6 teams playing this week and see who we think want the break and who don't want the break. So obviously the first one being Wakey.
No, I don't think Wakey want a break. If you look at how they performed against Huddersfield 2 weeks ago, you could probably say they looked a bit tired, didn't they, against Hull FC a couple of weeks ago. They weren't playing how they've been playing all season, but against Huddersfield they looked red hot, and you just want to keep them on the field, don't you, if you're playing like that. Against the Leeds side, I think Leeds are just going about the business. I think they're not suffering with too many injuries. They've got a fairly stable side on the field. I think Leeds would be happy to keep going as well, to be honest with you. Yeah,
I don't think these two will be like phased about not having a break when other teams are having a break this week. I think, like you said, Wakey have got momentum and they're going to want that momentum to keep going. Leeds, I think a bit of disruption would be the last thing they want right now. This is the game of the round, though, isn't it? This has got to be like the game of the round.
Yeah, this is definitely the game of the round. 2 really exciting sides to watch at the minute, especially attacking wise. So, yeah, both got fairly fit sides. We'll talk. We'll go into that in a bit more detail when we start talking about the games. So the other 2 teams, Wigan, Catalan. What do you think about them 2?
Well, I think Wigan will 100% benefit. I don't know if they'll want it or whether they'll just want to keep going and all that, but I think they'll definitely benefit from a short break where they can just recalibrate. Eckersley, I don't know what's happening with him. He's got some kind of scan going on his leg or something like that. Jai Field's out with a head injury. You know what I mean? So they'll definitely benefit from a break next week. So and I think also there's a bit of recalibration to go on there, you know, because they have had a bit of a mini crisis. Again, we're going to talk about this much more in detail in our set of 6 and also when we come onto the game proper. But I think they want the break.
Yeah, I think I probably agree with you there. A bit of recalibration. And if we look at Catalan, I'd say Catalan definitely need a break. I think they need to spend a little bit more time with their head coach. They need to start getting some attacking shape together because they don't really look like they can trouble teams in attack. So, yeah, I think Catalan as well will be glad of a break next week.
I disagree.
Why?
Saying, because I think Catalan are sprinting towards 2026. I think the idea of 2025 season is done and dusted, and they're just thinking ahead of 2026, and they want this season over and done with as fast as they can. So that's kind of where I'm at with Catalan. Hull FC, do you think they want a break or not?
No, Hull FC don't want a break. Not how they performed at the weekend. Their best performance of the year, really, wasn't it? So, yeah, Hull FC don't need a break, no way. And Huddersfield, maybe. I don't know what to say about Huddersfield. I mean, they're still missing plenty of players, but at the same time, they are they've got a few back as well now. So, no, I think Huddersfield just need to keep going, need some consistency.
Yeah, I agree with them too. Right, so let's get into the games proper then, Karl, and give our much wanted. I don't know how to describe our opinions on this, but anyway, let's get into it. First game, Thursday night, we've got Wakey taking on Leeds. Wakey currently sitting in 7th place with 20 points. Leeds 4th with 26 points. This kicks off at 8 o'clock. Sky Plus, Wakey 3 from the last 6 and Leeds 4 from the last 6.
Yeah, and Wakey were back playing some good rugby at the weekend. I enjoyed watching them against Huddersfield. Jaden Myers as well. We've got to give him a special mention. 2 tries. It wasn't his debut, was it? But he hasn't featured much for Trinity. Linking up with his old teammate Jake Truman, I thought he had a great game. I thought they were really good. I thought Wakefield were really good. Leeds, on the other hand, just continue they've raised the standards of Leeds, and they continue to keep hitting those standards. That they've had a few blips along the road. However, they were good at the weekend. Alfie Edgell scoring hat-trick. He looked absolutely awesome. He's really, really pushing on.
Yeah, I suppose going on about the break and what have you, we are approaching a line that was drawn in the sand by Ian Blease at Leeds, and that's the decision on Brad Arthur, whether he's going to stay or whether he's going to hightail it back to us and all that. And I don't think Brad Arthur's been offered the opportunity that will take him back home. He keeps going on that his two lads are still back in Australia and he's missing them, so he definitely wants to go home, but he's like, I'll go wherever there's a job at the minute. So anyway, Ian Blease kind of said that we need to be making a decision about that time. That's coming up. So I think they'll be glad to get a game under the belt before that deadline.
When is that deadline then?
Well,
you're saying there's a deadline, but there ain't a deadline. Sometime maybe this month.
I think he said like 4th of August, right? So beginning of August, he sort of said there was, we need to be making a decision by that. And I agree, like we need to know what the head coach is doing, and need to know what their allegiances are. That said, let's make hay whilst the sun is shining. He's doing an incredible job with Leeds. Phenomenal difference in them. So this is, like I said, this is going to be the game of the round. This is the one that I think everyone's going to have their eyes on because it's going to be a belter. Although, Wakey being in 7th, we know there's only a few points really in this bunch below the top 2. So it's going to be really interesting and some interesting matchups.
Yeah, they can both score tries as well. I pulled out a few matchups I think we have a little bit of look at. The first one is the hooking position. The hooker. So you got Jared O'Connor versus Liam Hood, who are both, I think, very similar style players. That just old school hookers, roll up the sleeves, do loads of work in defence. And, like a scoop from dummy half every now and then. Who do you think will come off the better of those two?
I think technically Liam Hood, and I think aggression-wise, defensive, it would be Jared O'Connor. I love it when he's like sprints off the line and he's just out, like an exocet, just trying to take people out of the game. And that's brilliant to watch, although he's got, the players around him have got to be able to reinforce that. You know what I mean? Otherwise, there'd just be gaps there. But he does it incredibly well. Liam Hood, again, an aggressive player who likes to defend as well. So this is an interesting matchup. I don't think that matchup will necessarily decide the game. I think there's some bigger, more important matchups in the halves, for example.
Well, go on to the fullback position. I think we're going to be watching two of the more entertaining fullbacks in this game. So you got Lockie Miller, who's playing brilliant at Leeds, and then on the other side you got, if he starts at fullback, Max Jowett at fullback for Trinity, and both exciting attacking players who know how to score tries when their halfbacks give them the right platform. And I'll go on to the halfbacks in a minute. I think both sets of players from these sides are giving the fullbacks a great platform to attack. So yeah, this is a great matchup in fullback, and this could decide where this game goes.
Yeah, I think if either of these players, you'd expect them both to have great games. But if one of these players has an off game, that's going to take its toll on the team and could play a huge part in who actually wins the game or loses the game. Can I put it that way?
Yeah.
Both teams have the ability to win the game. I think it's going to boil down to who loses this game.
I know what you mean. It's interesting that of these matchups that I've pulled out, I haven't actually brought any of the forwards into play. So the other one that I'm sort of looking at is the halfback combinations between the two sides. So you've got Truman's back now playing with Lino, and I think that is a really good balanced halfback partnership. And then on the other side you've got Brodie Croft and Jake Connor. Jake Connor's, we've been saying it all season, he's having a great season. So Croft and Connor versus Truman and Lino, who do you see coming out on top of those two?
Well, there's a bit of a loaded question for me, isn't it? Because of
that's why I did it.
But I mean, I think when we talk about this, is whoever loses this game, it's the game to be lost rather than a game to be won in a weird sort of way. The person that has froze last week had a bit of a crap game. Is Jake Connor. Maybe it's amazing to excel, in the games that he has done already. However, he can be off the boil. He can, we saw it.
True,
we saw it.
True, but he's blown hot more times than he's blown
I
cold
know.
this season, hasn't he?
I know.
A lot more times than he's blown cold.
I suppose so as Mason Lino a couple of weeks ago, he had a bit of a a bad game. I'll say.
Yeah, when Mason Lino's not on it, he can have a bit of a shocker as well. But however, he's the season he's having at the minute, he's quality, and he just looks like he can create tries from all sorts. And I like his like off the cuff style. That he'll try stuff that probably more measured halfbacks, more structured halfbacks might not try. He's quite happy to throw a 3-player miss pass out wide, or just do something you don't expect. I think with the fact that he's got Truman back with him, he balances really well off him. Jake Truman's a very structured halfback. He'll go through the motions. He'll do the organising that lets Lino play off the cuff a little bit. So, it's a great matchup, this. And I think we need to get into our predictions, mate.
Right.
I know you're going to go for.
Why?
Because I do. Okay.
Right. Well, I'm good, and I want to preface this on what I said before. Like this is anybody's game. Anybody can win on the day, and I love what Wake is doing. However, I think this is going to be a Leeds win. And I've said that Wakey can make any team look stupid, and I just hope they don't make us look stupid this weekend. So I'm going Leeds, and I can pretty much guess where you're going.
I'm going Trinity by 4.
That close?
Yeah, I think it will be close. I think it'll be a really close game, and I think it'll be an exciting game. I think it'll definitely be the most exciting game of the round.
Yeah, it's going to be absolute slugfest as well, isn't it?
Thursday night footy is back.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So move on then. So Friday night, Wigan take on Catalan Dragon. Wigan currently sitting second, as we know, in the table with 28 points. Catalan sitting ninth with 12 points. Wigan 3 from the last 6, and Catalan just 1 lonely win out of the last 6. This kicks off at 8 o'clock on Sky Sports Mix.
Now, we all know the problems that Catalan are going through, but that's boring. We don't really want to talk about that. I'd rather talk about what's going on at Wigan at the minute, because they don't look enthused at the minute, don't Wigan? They look like they're going through the motions and expect to win at the minute, to Wigan. And that's not good enough now when teams are coming at them red hot, looking to pick up victories. And I think there's some problems at Wigan at the minute.
I don't know, because they seem to be, like Matty Pete just seems to be all right with the losses. I think he takes responsibility for where it's going wrong. He identified 2 areas in which that he had to work on for this game on on Friday, and that is, just muscle up in defence a bit more, but also less errors in yardage. So it's not like he's going, I think they're happier losing than the rest of the world are with them losing. Does that make sense?
I tell you who's not happy with them losing, though. Wigan fans.
No.
Wigan fans, Wigan fans expect the best, don't they? They expect high standards, and they expect their team to be playing well all the time. I think what Wigan fans don't like is when it looks like the effort areas aren't quite there, and you could mistake effort areas sometimes just for just playing poorly, I suppose. I mean, if you look at the stats this week, they had a 60% completion rate, which is just unheard of from a Wigan team. And they made 16 errors. They only had 10 play the balls in the opposition's 20-metre red zone. There's something not quite right with Wigan. And every single season, this happens to Wigan. They have a blip mid-season, but this is going on longer than we usually expect it to. Yeah,
well, that's what Matty Pete's saying, is that there are ups and downs in the Super League. You know, and when he was questioned at the end of the game, he was like, used to being in this position, and Matt Pete's like, well, I am actually more often than you would think, because, this is just like this is how it is in top sport. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying by they seem to be happier than the rest of the world, including the Wigan fans. I saw memes from Wigan fans saying, that's it. Matt Pete's picking up his P45 at bloody on Monday and all this.
That's just sports fans in general, though, isn't it?
I mean, they have got some massive, notable absentees at the minute. Bevan French is going to be out at least for a good few weeks. Jai Field now failed HIA, and I know two players don't make a team, but they are so significant in what Wigan do. So they do talk about this next man up mentality that they have at Wigan. You know what I mean? Someone should just be able to step into those holes and put in a job. It's not kind of happening at the minute. So anyway, that said, much easier this weekend going up against Catalans, you would expect, especially at the Brick Community Stadium as well. So
last question.
Oh, go on.
Christian Wade. All right. Does he start? Does he start this week?
I think he does because Eckersley's out at the minute, and Miskey's out at the minute, so I think he would start. And I also think that Wigan have committed to Christian Wade, and a little bit of arrogance, call it what you want. They're going to want to see this project come to fruition and for it to work. So I think Matt Pete has backed him. And he's going to run with him again. Whether it's a good idea or not, I don't know, because I count at least 3 serious mistakes that cost tries from Christian Wade.
Right, I'm putting you in Wigan coaching box for a minute. You and Sean Wade.
Right.
Half time at Wigan. Christian Wade's having a bit of a shocker. Aidan Caesar's identified him as a weak link in that side, and he just peppered him all day long. Half time, he dragging him off or he leaving him on.
Why is Sean Wayne in the bloody...
Because he's just always there.
I thought
I removed Luluai and Matt Pete for a minute, and I'd give you Wayne as your coaching assistant.
Right, first thing I'd say is, Sean, why do you insist on wearing Wigan tops when you're the England coach? That's a terrible... It's a terrible look. Nobody likes it. I don't know what you're thinking. Anyway, next thing I'd say... What was the question? I was that caught up in the Sean Wayne.
Christian Wade, at half-time, you were coaching him last weekend against Hull FC. At half-time, are you bringing him off or are you leaving him on?
No, I'm leaving him on. But I tell you what I am doing. I'm having a word with him saying, look, dust off those mistakes, concentrate on what you do well. And I'm speaking to the players around him, right? Because I want those players to just to support him, to back him, to speak to him, make sure he's in the right places at the right time. You know what I mean? And I want that wing to be pulling together to look after him, because undoubtedly he can score tries, Kai. I mean, he is a rapido. When he gets the ball, with the ball, if he can keep hold of it, he is blazing. He just got peppered. And do you know what? So really experienced players can get into the same mindset, can't they? They drop a couple of balls, they get peppered, they get targeted. Before you know it, I've seen it happen with Ryan Hall. I've seen it happen with... We've seen it with Jai Field.
Yeah.
Jai Field, when they played Hull KR, they just... He made a ton of mistakes. So, did I answer your question?
I don't know. You just kind of went around the houses. I think you said, you were leaving him on.
Yeah, I wasn't leaving him on, yeah.
Yeah, well, you had no choice because you had no backs on your bench.
Yeah.
So Matt Pete loaded the bench with forwards, didn't he? So I don't.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go.
He had nowhere to go with it, really, did he? I've no doubt he's going to be a star of the future, but I question whether he's Super League ready at the minute.
But you've got to then. So how does he get Super League ready if he's not playing in the Super League?
Well, he's not been there that long, has he?
No, he's literally done a few weeks.
You can tell his positioning play is not quite right. He's still got a lot of rugby union tendencies in his game at the minute, and I think more training time, more time in reserves. I don't know. But loan out to a championship club.
You still have to catch balls in rugby union.
Yeah, and
you still have to catch balls in NFL. So.
I don't even know what position he played in NFL, to be honest with you. But but in rugby union, you don't.
Was he running line back, left support?
You're just making that up. I don't even. He might have been a running back. I don't know. But in rugby union, you don't have the kick pressure that you have in rugby league.
Yeah.
Because often they just kick it back and forth.
Just kick tennis.
Kick it back and forwards for a while, and then eventually somebody decides to run it, and then we're back into it again, aren't we? So, but you don't get that kick pressure what you get in rugby league. So I think that's what he was struggling with. Also, his positional play. His positional play wasn't right. No, anyway, we're throwing him under the bus, which I don't want to do.
I'm saying that's why players around him, and I'm sure they were talking to him, but I just want them to support him so he can start building up a bit of history of successes and then kick on. So, right, are we calling it or are we talking about Catalan?
I never have much to say about Catalan. I've got a few stats. So, Catalan's completion rate was 72%, and from that, they scored 1 try. It's not the best completion rate in the world. However, Hull KR, who they played at the weekend, they only had a 62% completion rate. They scored 6 tries. So it's what they're doing with the ball is making a huge difference. I don't think their attacking play they don't seem to have
anything,
many set plays, or their attack just seems disjointed. I don't think the half-back pairing's really working. They don't look dangerous to the Catalan when they've got ball in hand. They don't look to me like they're going to score many points.
Do you think it's a fitness thing?
No, not really. They don't look unfit. They just look like they look like they haven't got the quality of player on the pitch that they need. But there is some great NRL experience in that side. But yeah, attacking wise, attacking shape, it's definitely not there. We know they've had problems in defence, but even if you take that out of the equation, their attacking shape don't look great to me.
Right, on to the prediction then, Karl, and how much do you think we're going to win by?
I think we're going to win by at least 20.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that. I think we're going to take this as a match where they can start to gain a bit of control over what they're doing and maybe get around those significant absences in Bevan, French and Highfield, Eckersley, Miskey. There's a few others in there that's currently absent. Sam Walters is done as well. Right, moving on to the next game then, Saturday, and Hull FC sitting in 6th place take on Huddersfield Giants in 11th place. Kicks off at 3 o'clock on Sky Plus. Hull FC 3 from the last 6, including that mega win against Wigan at the weekend, and Huddersfield just 2 from the last 6.
Well, Hull FC flying high with a win against Wigan at the weekend. I really liked what Hull FC did this week. They got a number of stuff right. I think Zach Hardacre back at full-back was brilliant. It was a great move for them, which allowed Rapana to be in the centres. And then you got Jack Charles, sort of fairly new into that side, playing with Aidan Caesar. What a pairing that was. It just really worked for them. And Caesar, I've already mentioned on it, what a game he had. He just pulled the strings and it just caused an absolute nightmare for Wigan.
In his post-match interview, Aidan Caesar, like it was made out that, well, I seen a couple of articles on the Hull FC performance against Wigan saying that they executed a great game plan. Aidan Caesar sort of said, look, I tried it, I got a bit of joy, so we kept going back there.
Carried on.
Yeah, so we kept, and so it suggests, although, a game, it was like a dynamic game plan, if you like. It wasn't something they'd set out to do right from the start, or maybe it was, I don't know. But they just saw a little bit of joy there. Right, let's keep going and make this Wade guy look stupid, So I thought that was quite interesting from Aidan Caesar, and I'd love to have a conversation with Aidan Caesar and say, right, you were brilliant at Huddersfield, right? You're brilliant. You're having a great season now at Huddersfield. What happened at Leeds? Like, genuinely, respectfully as well. Yeah, what happened at Leeds?
We spoke about this, didn't we? Like at the start of the season, we was like, don't really know whether Aidan Caesar's going to be a decent signing for Hull. Well, that's what we said.
We questioned whether he was going to be a decent signing.
And he's absolutely brilliant this year. He's one of the buys of the season, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's getting better and better. Like, his performance at the weekend was just class. I enjoy watching him play. Actually, I don't really know what style of halfback he is, because he can play a few different roles, can't he? He can be the organiser, sitting back and organising the team. Some games you see him running at the line more. Other games his kicking game comes to the forefront. He's got a very good short kicking game, like George Williams. He's got quite a lot in his arsenal, and you don't quite know what you're going to get with him. But I'm enjoying watching him play at the minute.
Yeah, definitely. And Rapana as well, I think he's doing really well. The try at the weekend was brilliant to see. I'm in agreement with you, though. Like, the player that really is excelling right now, and it's like a resurgence of his form, is Zach Hardacre. We all thought like he was pretty much done. They're trying to shoehorn him into the team in places. Yeah. Anyway, he's had a good couple of weeks now at fullback, and he's doing a great job. And good little match-up as well. I don't know if you saw some of the clips.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of, handbags going on with Tyler Dupree.
Well, it's part of his game, isn't it? He gets under people's skin. He's got a little bit of that, like, Jake Connor niggle about him. And you often know when Zach Hardacre's playing well, because that comes out in him. And as long as he doesn't overstep the line and he gets under the skin of other players, it's win-win, innit? I thought it was great at the weekend.
Right, so we need to call. Huddersfield. So what we're saying about Huddersfield, not a right lot, really. I think.
No, and another underwhelming performance. I mean, they set off against Wakey, and the first 15 minutes they were pretty good. And I actually thought they're going to catch Trinity cold here, and they're going to start racking some points up. And then the first try went in for Wakefield, and kind of collapsed like a pack of cards, really. Yeah, they've got problems at Huddersfield, but they've made some improvements. I think it's like a couple of steps forward and then a couple of steps back. I ain't got much more to say on them.
Right, okay, so we need to call it then. What are you saying, Karl?
Hull FC win for me. I think it'd be quite comfortable. I think Hull FC at home, maybe they can back up 2 wins at home and start. They've got a lot of home games coming up, actually, haven't they? So they've got to start getting some consistency at home. So, yeah, I expect FC to win I'm going by 16 points.
Yeah, all right. I completely agree with all of that. A couple of things I want to mention, though. 400 games for Leroy Kudrow, one club man, you know what I mean, deserved it.
Quality,
I loved how when they did the Guard of Honour, like, he was almost like a little bit embarrassed, a little bit, you know what I mean? And I think that's quality of a bloke, you know what I mean? Just could have been reveling in the attention and all that, but just kind of came out a little bit sheepish, got his thing, picture, off he went.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I was going to talk about, the crowd up a little bit this weekend. They reported in one of the Rugby League newspapers there, or publications online.
Well, at Huddersfield?
Yeah, saying that it was up there. So good if they're getting a few numbers. Yeah, exactly.
Good news, because they picked up some. They've had some decent performances, haven't they, over the last sort of month or so, and yeah, they've definitely sort of improved things. It was a step back on Thursday night, but yeah, hopefully the crowds keep coming in. Yeah,
and we have sort of said, like, what is it that's actually going wrong in terms like Huddersfield, and maybe, I know it's only sales, and one swallow don't make a summer, or whatever the freaking saying is, but performance is the key. If they can start getting some performances on the pitch, they'll start bringing people back into the stadium, and they'll start generating more money, blah, 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 you know what I mean? And so performance really is the key to it.
Yeah, of course it is. It's sport, isn't it? Nobody wants to spend their hard-earned cash to go watch their team lose, do they, really? It's difficult turning up at a ground knowing that you're probably going to get a bit of whacking. But yeah, they're giving the supporters some hope, aren't they, now? And they're definitely... The effort areas are definitely there, and they're definitely starting to put some better performances in.
Brilliant. Okay, so there you go. 3 really exciting games this weekend with the headline act, Wakey versus Leeds, on the Thursday night. Please stick your predictions down in the comments below. We'd love to hear about that, and all the little bits of niggle and stuff like that we get as well. And Karl, any final afterburners from you?
Yeah, just a thank you to our members that have joined the channel. It just really helps us to carry on creating the content that we're creating. There will be quite a few different bits and bobs going out on the channel this week. Recording the Championship show today, so if any Championship fans out there, subscribe and check out the Championship show that's coming this week.
So until the next video, take care.